What is up, nerds? Welcome back to the 10th episode of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, here with my co-host, Justin. Dude, what's going on, man? How you
Not
been?
much. Dude, I've been good, and I'm better now. We made it to double digits. You know, you and I briefly talked about this.
Let's go.
The first episode, right? I guess before the first episode, we did an Instagram Live, and we were like, you want to do the podcast? And then we were like, sure. You know, we may do 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes. And then I think, I can't even remember if it was me or you who asked, like, do you think we'll make it to 10? And I feel like the answer was maybe, but probably not. But look, here we are, 10 episodes.
We made it, man. We are officially podcasters. I think once you make it past 10, you're official, man. Like, this is it. We'll probably fall off and never make another episode after this.
Yeah, I was actually, you know, today I got the
it.
feeling that this is a good one to be the finale, the final. So I might I'll just go now.
Yeah, it was nice. Nice meeting you, Justin. Thanks for all of your wasted time. Well, sweet. You been up to any playing or anything? You done anything exciting in the pickleball world?
Well, yeah. And I've been playing with some, like, man, it's hurting my game, but I'm playing with different paddles every day, like multiple ones a day. It's killing me, but I am in a testing phase right now. So, you know how it goes. You can play with, if you have like a tournament coming up, you might stick with one for a while, but then it's like, now it's testing phase for different reasons for the two of us, but yeah. So it's been fun. I've actually kind of revisited some older paddles to get a feel for the stuff that I used to main and what are the things I love about them, and then also playing with some new stuff. So I've been playing like crap, but having a good time.
I assume the wonderful Mark Pure.
Yeah. Sure, you already knew.
Referring to.
I was shocked.
That amazing $99 raw carbon fiber.
We can't talk about it.
It's exceptionally well.
It's gone.
That would have been easily number 1 or number 2 on my best paddles under $100.
We might see a resurgence, but
hey, man. You should definitely research.
What have you been playing with? What have you been doing?
I've been testing quite a few paddles. I completely messed up last episode and lied about my cue. Not purposefully, but I completely forgot to mention that the next review is actually going to be the Mavericks Clash 15 Pro and All Court, which let me grab them real quick.
Those are the hybrids, right? Oh, he's got his stack.
Yeah,
he's got his stack.
So we got the stack, baby. Look at that. We got the Mavericks Clash. We got the Pro. We got the Rhombus, the Fat Boy, and then the Monarch. So what's awesome is all of these paddles are pretty badass. So expect a bunch of really good reviews coming up. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. All these paddles are really badass. Expect a bunch of really good reviews coming up. Spoiler alert, specifically the 11.624 Monarch All Court. That paddle's
That's a new
nuts.
Favorite. I feel like I'm hearing a lot about it. I mean, I think we mentioned it last episode, but also basically every pod and all the different places where you find your paddle nerd talk, everyone's kind of raving about the All Court specifically.
Yeah, pretty much all of these paddles I would highly recommend. The Monarch is quickly becoming a top 5 paddle. The All Court, haven't dedicated really any time to the Control or the Jelly Bean yet, but I plan to do a lot with those. But I've been spending most of my time on the Mavericks Clash All Court and Pro, the Fat Boy, and then the Rhombus Nova, but I've played an extensive amount with the All Court. So yeah, all those paddles are badass. I think every one of those is a Pursuit 10, except for Bread and Butter, which I think is Pursuit 15, if I'm not mistaken. So if those are paddles that you don't really feel like waiting for the review and you want, if you'd like to use my code, that would be greatly appreciated and would help support this podcast and channel. So lots of good stuff coming up. I think I'm going to wait to post the the reason why I've been waiting to post the Fat Boy is just because have had a couple paddles ahead of it in the queue, number one. And number two, they've been doing those limited releases. So I'm probably going to wait till like the third or fourth release to drop my review. So great paddle. No negative reason why it's taken so long to get out. It's just, everybody's going to post it on launch day.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about being first. I would rather, get it out when it's supposed to be out for my, time and,
And clearly
testing.
you have a lot going on, as evidenced by the full stack.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's hard to,
And that,
hit every deadline, every launch date with every paddle. That's tough to do.
Yeah, it's impossible. The Nova Dong with Ronbus was asking if I could get it out not Tuesday, on the 2nd, and I won't be able to get it out. So I mean, it's just people would prefer to have it out on the release date, obviously, just because it's the most excited time and people want to know more about the paddle. But I'm sorry, I just got sent a bunch of paddles and have to honor everybody who's sent me paddles. So yeah, man, that's the queue. Lots of really good stuff coming up. Definitely of the whole bunch, the Monarch All Court is just like a notch above, those. But I think every one of those paddles is going to fit a different player, which is also pretty cool and unique. So lots of good paddles coming out. Lots of good paddles that I'm reviewing that are not just your typical cookie cutter paddle that we see a lot of companies kind of dropping. They're making minor changes to a already good pickleball paddle. So, yeah, man, we got some stuff going on. But we talked about last week how I was like, man, I got to start drilling more. I got to start playing.
Yeah, you were
more.
down in the dumps a little bit last week. You were kind of hard on yourself.
Yeah, that I just forgot how competitive I was, and it's been a really long time since I've played anything like super competitive, like 8 or 9 years. So I just forgot, and now that I'm starting to play, higher level pickleball, if you would even call for that, I'm like, shit, like this is. I forgot how much I love to compete and also win, which I have not been doing much of in the tournament. So anyway, I digress. I've done something kind of stupid, guys. I'm not going to lie. But it's also for the best. I ended up buying the Titan Ace ball machine, which is, if you go look up the price, it is not cheap.
We'll call it an investment.
It is not a cheap. Yeah, it is 100% an investment. And I know for sure, and you probably have played with ball machines before, nothing ever is going to replace your drill partner or be a better, nothing's going to be better than drilling with a person. However, I am in desperate need of filming in the mornings and doing, playing pickleball in the morning. So not always is the people that, I would like to drill with, they're not always available. So
yeah, we got normal jobs.
This is going to help me drill, number one. Yeah, I know. I don't have a normal job. I live on that retirement schedule because I am self-employed, and some months I work an insane amount of hours, and then some months I work 5 to 10 hours. It's just kind of how it goes. But so I bought the Titan Ace ball machine with my own money. I will probably make a review about it just because I'm more than certain that it's going to be a very valuable asset, but it's also going to help me make better videos. And
That's
fair. The reason why is because usually I would just have to set my camera up on a tripod and film me and my partner drilling, or me and my wife drilling. So I couldn't get as many dynamic shots as I wanted. Now with this Titan ball machine, I can have my wife film some of the stuff and make it more intriguing and level up the production.
Wait.
So
Did I just hear you say business investment? Write off?
business
Is that what I heard?
investment write-off, baby.
Tax write off?
It is a write-off.
Is that what I heard?
I did check with my accountant to make sure that pickleball related purchases were going to be deemed a
What
write-off.
you just
So-
that's kind of a dream probably for all of our nerdy pickleball listeners to just say, yeah, my financial advisor told me pickleball related purchases are a business write-off. Where do I get that note?
Yep.
It's
So not everybody can be elite,
well
but I'm one of them. So
well, I'm ready to
I'm
see
just kidding, guys.
some clips of you losing to a machine, because clearly we've seen you lose to a person
it'll happen
plenty of times. So
yeah,
now
yeah.
you have no excuse anymore. No, but in all seriousness,
Yeah.
about like drilling with the ball machine, of course it's going to be super useful for filming, but I haven't never played with a ball machine. Like I've literally hit 3 balls off a ball machine one time. But what I've heard,
Dang,
there's there's someone near me basically a facility who does it, and their kind of mantra or ideology, I guess, around it is that the best way to use it is to like do a coaching session, get specific feedback, and then use the ball machine to work on that specific feedback. So you're not just reinforcing bad habits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good
obviously you're
point.
going to use it for
Yeah.
filming a lot, and no doubt
Which
more reps are going to make you better.
I won't do.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was
Yeah.
going to say, do you have any, like 5 plus or pro level players near you who you could get coached from?
There's a 5.0 instructor. You don't have to be a 5.0, or like you can easily be a 4.5 and be able to critique people who are half a point or a whole point less than you, and give them
Valuable feedback.
honest and valuable feedback that's going to
That's
improve
true.
their game. So I've never been one of those people who's like, oh, what is your rating? I don't want you to coach me unless I know that you're a 5.0 or a 5.5. But to answer your question, yeah, there's Holly, I can't remember her last name, but she's 5.0. She's a beast. Is she the
destroys. Person you told me who just like
yeah.
will reset everything no matter what you hit at her, and just
she's a dog. Unless she's playing with me, in which case all of my horrendous tendencies like to
it's her
rub
fault.
off onto her for 1 or 2 points. So just enough for the other team to get a couple points ahead, and then have them hit all of the balls at me and we lose. So, but yeah, I have thought about getting a coach, but also I don't really have the time to do that right now. I'd rather dedicate that to drilling on my own, and then going to use that time for reviews. So
makes sense. Time to drill some overheads.
if you want to get better, yeah, well, my overhead's been pretty decent lately, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what happened, but magically, I spend one day with you and see your overheads, and mine.
They
suddenly
just
are
look
fixed.
better to you now.
So-
You have a new perspective. That's what it is. You've seen what truly bad overheads look like. So
Yeah. So you've never hit with a ball machine?
no.
God,
Well, I mean, okay,
that is
well,
hard
I
to believe.
hit tennis with a ball machine, like when I was much younger
Yeah.
playing tennis. But
Yeah.
no, I've never. Dude, pickleball's not big where I live. I don't live in a huge city, and we have 0 indoor facilities, and
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
few to no good players here. So
So what you're saying is we should open up an indoor
if
facility.
you got the millions, bro, I got the
in your
plan
city.
and the gumption.
Is it how much would it cost to start a?
You're talking about an
pickleball
indoor facility, like a large 8+.
Yeah. Let's say Pace. Let's say Pace. Pace is the
if
best.
you
of the
want it
best,
to be
my
in a
opinion.
decent location, right, and you're going to build it up from the ground, you're looking at least 2.5 million. So,
Damn.
yeah.
Is that a Texas 2.5 million or just a nationwide
that's
2.5 million?
I've specifically done the market research for my town. I've talked to investors about this. I've looked into this. Had multiple meetings about opening indoor facility, and even looked at locations on site. So I've been down this road and it fizzled out. But yeah,
Dang.
if you had everything go perfectly right, it was going to be $2 million. If you really wanted to do it all out and in a perfect location, it's probably like pushing 4 to 5 million. Because you think about it, it's a large building, right? And usually the location is very expensive usually to have land that large in a decent location. And it's 1 billion degrees.
Courts are like 20 grand a pop.
Yeah. What do you say? Oh, yeah. The courts, yeah. And it's 1 billion degrees in the summer. So like just the AC and the electric bill, it's, Anyway, expensive is the answer. So
it's expensive. It makes sense why there are not a ton, but also
depends where you are, man. There's so many in Houston.
It makes no sense.
Crazy, and there's so many in DFW. If I win the lottery, which I don't play, so that will be a double miracle. I'll open an indoor facility. Easy.
Yeah. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. We'll open a indoor facility off of the tens and tens of cents that we make off of.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We just keep podcasting for approximately 762 years, and we make one episode a day.
Yeah.
We might have enough to build a backyard court. So we're getting there.
Yeah. 100%. We could get 20 grand. Easy.
Yeah.
That is definitely something I would love to do. I would love to have a court in my backyard. Why wouldn't you? But I need the space. So we're going to talk about something that you do quite a bit, which is paddle fittings. And this is kind of be almost like a touching on how to choose your paddle, but more so how to fit yourself into a better paddle. So I'll kind of let Justin take the reins on this. This will be kind of our nerd town subject. So all aboard.
Choo-choo. So I haven't actually done this as much recently. I actually really enjoy it. But what I mean by paddle fitting, and specifically, by the way, I used to be called, more so than I am now, but I used to be called Mr. Paddles at my court, which just because even before I worked for a paddle company, I always had, 10 paddles of different kinds, and people were like, oh, I want to try something new. I'd be like, zzz, zzz, open the bag and be like, here we go. What do you want to try? So, but
you're like the guy with the
exactly, with the trench
lab coat that has all the stuff.
Yeah, I thought about that exact thing with the trench coat with all the paddles. It's becoming crazy. Like someone hit me up the other day and was like, hey, do you have 4 paddles that you can give me? And for a second I was like, what the hell? Like you think I have that many paddles I can just give away 4? And then my second thought was, yeah, I do. So I'll give you 4 paddles. So anyway, they're trying to get a whole new group into it. So that's where I'm at. Okay, guys.
Same exactly.
That's where I'm at. But so
Mr. Paddles.
Anyway, so paddle fitting, what I mean by that is like getting someone, whether it's their own paddle or a new paddle that they're trying or whatever, but getting it dialed in for them. Usually it's like a trial and error process. And when I say getting it dialed in, I mean with tape, like with weight. So tungsten weighted tape, product placement, or, lead tape, overgrips, things like that.
Bro, you had that on
product placement. Anyway. Yeah. So what I found is pretty interesting is that, 95% of pickleball players have no idea what they like. They may say they like something, but then you'll set up a paddle totally opposite of what they say, and they'll be like, oh, this is great. I love this. I'm playing better than I ever have. I'm like, yeah, you don't know. Probably most of our listeners are on the other side of that spectrum and, do get into the nitty gritty.
I will say that I am a culprit of that because I, as most people did when they first started learning about twist weight and swing weight, Braden made the, place it at 3 and 9 o'clock. That's going to be the most, the best way to, 4 and 8, excuse me. That's going to be the best place to, not raise not raise the swing weight, but exactly. Raise the twist weight as much as possible. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what I want to do. And then, I played with it for a long time. And then I started experimenting. I was like, oh, this is nothing like what I want to do. And now I'm like, I barely put it above the corners on any of my paddles. I weight a lot in the throat and then also in the handle. So it's like completely different. So it's just like trial and error is super important. It's something that people don't necessarily do too much of. So sorry to derail you, bro, but get right back on, man. We're all aboard.
Yeah, so basically, like you said, a lot of people don't even know, or maybe they come from tennis where weighting the top of the hoop is actually really popular. So you see people with tape or weight on the top of their paddle, and then as they get better, right? See, it's totally fine when you're first starting out. Then as you get better, you start getting into more hands battles. The game speeds up a little bit, and all of a sudden they feel slow, or something along those lines. So, and then they don't realize like, oh, your balance point's super high, your swing weight's super high because of where this weight's at. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've had a ton of fun doing it. And essentially what I'll do, I'm lucky because I have a swing weight machine. But what I'll do is tell people, like, let me see your paddle that you play with. And I'll ask them, what are your favorite things about it? What do you think it does great? What do you think it does poorly? And go down the list. And then usually in the meantime, I'll like say, play with this demo paddle because I'll take theirs home. And what I'll do is I'll take theirs home, like swing weight, twist weight, weight test it. And then here's where the road diverges. Either they want to stick with their paddle, but they want to improve it, or they want to try a new paddle, right? So based on what they said they liked and their measurements, I'll either adjust their paddle, which normally means moving weight to different spots, changing the balance point. A lot of you who are into this stuff will understand completely immediately when someone says, oh, it's too slow, and then you test it and it's 130 swing weight. You're like, take the weight off the top, put the weight near the bottom corners. And then bring it back to them, or bring the other paddle and say, play with this. Play with it for at least a full day. You got to. And say, what did you like? What did you dislike? Do it again, do it again. And I can't tell you how many people I've done this for. And then the results are sometimes crazy. Like I set up this one guy, and I kept getting shocked by adding stuff, but his paddle ended up at like 9.4 ounces. And like something I could never play well with, but he plays super well with it and he loves it. And then now he keeps trying other paddles, and he's like, oh, I hate this. This hurts my wrist, and I'm trying to, but he doesn't know the technical stuff, but I keep trying to tell him, I'm like, dude, you are going to hate every stock paddle, because he keeps like comparing it to his 9 point something ounce paddle. He's like, it just doesn't play like the one you gave me. I'm like, it's never going to. Anyway, the point that I wanted to make.
Nothing ever will. You're playing with a hammer.
Crazy. But he plays so well with it, and he's so wristy. It's crazy. I'm like, how do you do that? But, our listeners, I think, are probably, like I said, on the other side of the spectrum, the people who understand this nerdy stuff. And this whole segment, I want this to be a call to action to you, because you guys are probably the Mr. Paddles of your courts. And I think you should try it. It's like so much fun. It helps teach people about paddles, but also teaches you about paddles. You don't need the swing weight and twist weight machine to do this. And especially if you are an ambassador of any type, setting up demos for people instead of just handing them a stock paddle, like getting their paddle in hand, seeing what they like and what they dislike about it, how it's weighted, and then setting up a demo of whatever brand you're repping to be their specs, and then let them try it. I can almost guarantee you that's going to convert more sales for you if you're interested in that. I'm just assuming we have quite a lot of ambassadors and people who are into the industry, listening.
Yeah, I would assume as well. I don't know that for sure, but it seems like a lot of our comments are like pretty deep.
Yeah, we got the smart listeners.
Like nerd stuff, which is awesome to see, because, I mean, a lot of y'all, this is not to make fun of Discord, but there's a lot of people in Discord who think they know everything about paddles. And a lot of them are just kind of mistaken about a lot of things. I don't like to get into any of those conversations just because Discord scares me. It's a deep, dark, scary place, scarier than Reddit.
I don't know about that.
But oof.
Maybe I'm comfortable in Discord. It's my ecosystem.
You're the you are the typical nerd.
Hey.
Everybody's nerd friend
in Discord. Yeah, I did have my own server with hundreds and hundreds of people, so there is that. So that's fair.
Yeah. But to get to the point, you guys in our comment section are extremely well informed, and kind of surprised me with how much y'all also think about all of these metrics and paddle modifications and manipulations that we also love to do and talk about. So it's very cool to see.
So that's actually why, reading the comments and seeing what you guys are into, I was like, you know what, I'm about to make a segment for the nerds, by the nerds, for the nerds. You know what I mean? So all of you Mr. and Mrs. Paddles out there, this is your call to action to start doing paddle fittings for people, or like Lewis said at the top, for yourself. And maybe you aren't super, savvy on all this stuff. Do some trial and error, because you might be shocked. It's not going to make you, go from, 3.5 to 4.5, right? But it can make a difference. And you might be surprised at what you think you wouldn't like, but just change your weight. Move your weight up 4 inches, play a night with it. Move it up a little bit more, play a night with it. Add a little bit more, play a night. Take it off. And I guarantee you're going to learn something about your paddle and probably about the type of shots that you feel more or less comfortable with. So just have fun. Go out there and become Mr. and Mrs. Paddles and do some paddle fitting. And like I said, for all your ambassadors, this is the best way.
Mr. and Mrs.
You can
Paddles.
convert a lot of sales this way. Because you
Absolutely.
hand somebody a stock paddle, like
Absolutely.
we know, stock paddles aren't the peak performance usually. So
Yeah, they're usually not too good. There's very few paddles that I will play stock, and most of the time it's just because the swing weights are too heavy to even bother manipulating with. So yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on also kind of like a slightly on topic but off topic for lack of a better word. But you kind of were talking about how modifying your paddle, it's not going to make you a tremendously better player, and it's really not even going to make you a better player
more comfortable and more
necessarily.
consistent, maybe.
Exactly. And it's going to make you more comfortable and consistent and probably more confident.
Definitely.
And I think those three things are humongous in 3.0 to 4.5 pickleball. Like humongous. If you can play confidently and comfortably, you're going to play your absolute best. So just figuring out, tinkering around with weighting your paddle is going to not make you a better player, but it will make your paddle perform a little bit better, and therefore give you some confidence and consistency, or a feeling of consistency, which honestly is just as important, in my opinion.
So talking about modification, you want to talk about grips? We've been on the hunt.
Yeah, we've been on the hunt. You boys been buying grips. I still need to buy some of those. Is it Lukey?
Lucky?
Lukey grips? Yeah. Lukey grips. But I did buy the U Drippin'. I got the custom, which is no,
so
it's a
no-go
no-go for me on this one. Absolutely
What's
not.
the pattern?
Other
That's
side?
the white elephant.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the white elephant. So I just figured why not? It'd be interesting to check this out. I thought it looked kind of cool. Definitely will not be using those, but the Pro Tour overgrips are pretty badass. I would say these are absolutely every bit as good as the Ionic Super Grab. So this is definitely a contender for my new overgrips. But I reached out to them. Apparently, we're not cool enough for them to sponsor us. So
we still got some work to do.
Yeah, they said something like, "Hey, nerd, not a fan. You're still a chump."
And actually, you got to pay double now
never
for the grips.
sponsor you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Here's your promo code. It adds 30% to everybody's.
Speaking of kind of inside story here, I know you've been on the hunt, right? And somebody at my courts, shout out John, he was like, hey, have you tried these grips yet? And I was like, what are they? And he said, U Drippin'. And I said, no, I haven't. And he was like, oh, you want to try one? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so he handed me one of the Pro Tour ones. I put it on, and I was like, oh, crap. This is good. I knew right away it felt good, and then I played that whole night with it, and I was like, "This thing is really good." And I messaged Lewis, and he hadn't gotten his in the mail yet, and I was like, "Dude, we might have a winner. This might be the new grip." And he was like, "Oh, I ordered some. I got some coming." So and then you got yours a few days later, and basically said the same thing. So we're on the same page.
Yeah, I haven't even played with it.
Oh,
yet,
really?
But I literally wrapped it onto the handle. I was like, "Oh yeah, this feels." Feels like
really
home.
Nice.
This is exactly what I want in a grip. So I'm gonna try a couple more just to see how they are. If there's a better option.
That's the Pro Tour, by the way. U Drippin' Pro Tour.
Yeah,
because The other ones
Pro
are pretty
Tour.
different.
What's the other one? Pro Comfort?
I don't know, but I only tried the Pro Tour. For me,
Yeah.
I personally prefer tacky grips. It's great. If you're someone who likes a dry, sweat absorbing grip, it probably isn't the one for you because it's kind of thin and pretty tacky.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, absolutely not. So, great note there. That's definitely going to be a very important thing to take in mind. So, yeah, still on the look out for my new grips. These are a heavy contender. And I just, like I said in the last episode, I just want to support a smaller company who makes equal or better products. So I think that's just kind of the MO of my channel. And then also just kind of I feel like you should support small businesses if you can and if you enjoy their products. Don't just buy crap just for crap's sake. So, yeah, grips, man. So you might switch as well? Is that your new?
Man, I have like 30
is that your next one?
Wilson Pro Comforts left. So it'll be a while, but probably. I have so many. It's just...
I blow through them, man. I'll probably go through like 12 grips a month minimum.
Wow. Do you change it every session?
Yeah.
Oh, well, a lot of paddles.
Well,
a lot
here's
of paddles,
what I do.
see. Yeah, I didn't think about that part.
I'll put a grip on every single paddle that I really enjoy playing and really want to delve time into. If you see a grip on there, I probably like the paddle a lot. So if there's not a grip on there, it's either was not a paddle that was super interesting, or in very seldom cases, it actually had a really good standard grip, like the Shogun. I never put one on the Shogun just because it actually had a pretty solid overgrip, which, I was like, dang, this is crazy. Now, if I played outside, I would have immediately put one on. I was just playing a bunch of indoor, so, yeah. All right, we have some news.
Oh, time for the update?
USAP. Yeah, USAP has updated us on some new testing
Ready to dive in?
So, Justin.
So this...
Go ahead, nerd.
I'm going to try to hit all the details here. So as most of you know, USAP had an industry meeting a couple months ago talking about how they're going to move to new testing for power. It's called the PB core testing. It means paddle ball coefficient of restitution. Not pickleball, paddle ball coefficient of restitution. Basically, it's bouncing a ball off a paddle and then seeing how fast does it rebound. This is going to be their new, more advanced way to power test paddles.
PB core is what they call
core,
it?
Yeah, it's PBCOR, but PB core.
Mm-hmm. They also do core testing in golf clubs, which is so it's like a pretty stout and very trusted
and baseball and softball
testing. So
yeah,
okay.
There's
I did. Yeah, now that you said, I do remember that.
I might get this acronym wrong, but it's like called NTSA, I think, something like that. But it's the testing entity for baseball, softball, anyway, and they test bats this way.
Nice.
So this is a very established test. It's scientifically proven. It's solid, right? They're just now applying it to pickleball. They've already built the machine. The machine's good. It's reliable. They've already gotten all the pieces to the machine. It had to shoot special pickleballs. It's basically a pickleball with no holes in it. And that's because it shoots out of an air cannon. It needs to be consistent. They had a lot of pickleball manufacturers they asked them all to make a hole-less ball, and they chose the one that plays most similar, or reacts most similar to a regular pickleball. So it's completely set up. It's basically vetted at this point. Now, USAP, we just got an email just the other day, all the manufacturers, that they are at the point where they're going to implement this in Q4 of this year. So it's coming out. But they need to figure out what is the metric. What is the line in which pass, fail? You know what I mean? So
we are in Q3 right now, correct?
Maybe almost, or is it? Yeah, I guess this is Q3. This is the beginning of Q3.
Yeah, Q3. So very soon, like we're talking within the next
final 3 months of the year. So this will be soon, before 2025. It still says TBD, but they're trying to basically right now establish what is the metric that is going to pass or fail a paddle. And they sent out this communication to all of the manufacturers, which is good. They said first off, they said we want to illustrate our commitment to better communication, because I got a lot of feedback that the communication was poor and or lacking, which is great. And then they asked for feedback from the brands. They asked us a couple questions. The main question that they asked is, and this is pretty interesting, they're asking all the brands this: what paddle do you believe is the upper limit of how powerful a paddle should be? So all these brands who got this email are going to email back to USAP and name a specific paddle and say, this should be the most powerful legal paddle.
I would pay.
See all the answers?
To see all
I know,
those
right?
responses.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh my God.
So before we continue, Lewis, what would you say? What paddle do you believe to be the upper limit, most powerful paddle that should be legal? This is just your opinion as just an individual.
This is going to be like a hot ass take.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that any paddle should be more powerful than your typical Gen 2 thermoformed raw carbon fiber paddle.
What? So you mean like the Filth?
That's just my.
I'm just
opinion.
naming one typical.
Yeah.
That's a low bar, bro. That's a very low bar.
Bruh.
You would have a lot of failures.
That's just my opinion.
Okay. That is a hot take.
And I'll tell you why. Because especially in the pro game, I think there can be a lot more leniency in, let's just say if you're playing under 5.0, okay, there can be a little bit more leniency. I don't think anything should be as powerful as the Yola Gen 3 paddles.
I think most people would say that's over the line.
I don't think anything. Yeah, I think the gearbox are heavily over the line. And then probably the closest. I feel like
EKOCX.
Yeah, it's tiptoeing.
Dude, that's way more powerful than like the Filth, is what you just said. So according to you,
but I don't think it's that much more powerful than the Filth. I think it's like 2, maybe 3 miles an hour on average. I think it's significant faster.
Well, 2 to 3 miles an hour is a large percentage, considering how tightly packed all the MPHs are.
Yeah, sure. But so to clarify my hot take, which could be considered hot garbage, I do like the idea that Zane Navratil has made famous. This is not my novel idea at all. He thinks that the pros should be playing with their version of wooden bats. Like baseball does.
Yeah.
And I would 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if he thinks that, but he did say it was an idea to regulate the pro game.
Yeah. I think you're correct. Yeah, he did not say that he believes that. I'm putting words in his mouth, but I do think that is an excellent idea, and I think the version of a wooden bat, in my opinion, is a Gen 2 thermoform paddle. So that is why I just think that should be the cap, especially for professional.
So there's more about the USAP.
But it's hard. It's hard to kind of, wrap your head around how this is going to fit for the majority of pickleball players, because I guess in baseball, and, they're always doing slow pitch softball, like for any of the older people who want to play baseball, if you will. So that's a hard comparison, but, I guess they follow all regulations across all golf clubs, regardless of professional to. But they are talking about rolling back the ball, which is going to make the ball significantly less hot and less reactive to the face. So
okay. Which is a whole other conversation for
that's
pickleball.
Something that's
maybe the ball should be regulated. But
yes.
So before there's more to this USAP thing. What was I going to ask you about?
Oh, what did you think? What do you think should be the cutoff? You didn't answer.
Oh man. I don't know. Like, I think there's a gap above the paddle techs, so more powerful than the paddle techs, but not quite to Gearbox Gen 3 range. Does that make sense? I can't think of a specific paddle that fits there, but the paddle techs are very powerful. I wouldn't mind the line being slightly more powerful than that. But
I don't think the paddle techs are too powerful. I want to clarify that.
Okay.
I just think that I would say that they're probably in line with what I think is the max.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that.
But you are correct They are more powerful than every Gen 2 thermoform paddle that I've
Yeah.
ever hit.
So yeah. This is a non-answer, as I'm known to do. But below
Typical.
Gearbox and Gen 3.
Can you say etc. a few times?
I've avoided it this entire podcast, okay? So there might be more information coming out, etc. But yeah,
etc.
Pickleball, etc. Anyway. Anyway, so
Be on the lookout.
what I was going to
guys.
say is the other side to your argument, and maybe this is a bit devil's advocate, you said that the pros should be playing with less powerful and the amateurs, you think it should be more lenient. A lot of people think, and I might be in this camp, that a more powerful paddle is actually more dangerous in an amateur's hands because they're just going to spray shots.
Of course.
Anyway, okay. All right. You said, of course, so let's move on. So back to this USAP update, right? So they asked us that question. They asked us for feedback on what we think should be the most powerful paddle, which is very interesting. And I think it's cool that they're kind of polling the industry, so to say. All of us are biased and have vested interest in what we think should be the most powerful paddle. So it'd be, like you said, I'd pay to see the results from all the manufacturers. There is a...
I would love to see what Yola says. I would love.
Yeah, true. Or Gearbox, yeah. So there's...
Yeah. Well, I think Yola would be the most interesting because they have a paddle that's not quite as powerful as the Gearbox. But I would love to see what they say about the Gearbox.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So there is a follow-up meeting on August 20th. It's a virtual meeting. So we might have like a hard number at that time or a date. And then there's actually an in-person meeting at Nationals in Mesa in November, mid-November. So that's well into Q4. So we're expecting for sure by Nationals in Mesa should be live. That's what I would expect, the new testing. And here's what I'm not clear on.
Now, do you expect, before you go on, do you expect that as soon as they come up with that number, that all paddles going forward at that moment will be,
You just
tested
basically took
that
the words out of
metric?
my mouth, because here's what I'm not clear on from their announcement, and I'm sure a lot of people have this question because the way it's worded is kind of strange. I don't know that when they... Okay, one thing I know for sure. When they make the new PB Core number, any paddle submitted for approval after that date is going to have to pass that number to pass, period. What I can't tell from their wording is, are they grandfathering in every paddle that's currently approved? Or are they saying every paddle that's currently approved needs to meet that number or else be sunset? The approval be sunset. I don't know. And maybe that's me being dumb.
It sounds bad, but I think that is the correct way to do it.
No, I think it's right.
You know?
And, there is a protocol in place to sunset approved paddles, and technically you give them 18 months, which if you said, any paddle is currently approved, now the PB Core happens, it fails, now this paddle is going to be sunset, the approval will run out in 18 months, who cares? That paddle is going to be irrelevant in 18 months. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure, and like I said, maybe this is dumb, or maybe because I'm dumb and don't know how to read, but I couldn't figure out what they meant. So there's a couple other interesting things I want to tell you. They said that they are going to put increased efforts and resources on market compliance, which market compliance is the thing that people are kind of up in arms about right now, meaning that an original paddle is submitted for approval, and then the ones that are sold to public may be different. We talked about this on our pod. Well, market compliance is when USAP goes out and buys those from the public and then tests them versus the original and says, is this truly the same as what we tested? So they're going to put increased efforts and resources on that, which is great. It needs to happen. That's going to clean up. They are also going to start doing x-rays and deconstruction on every paddle that's submitted, which I'm, by the way, shocked that they haven't already been doing deconstruction. They're just passing these paddles without seeing what's in the core.
Wait, they have not been
That's how it seems
paddles?
like it was worded. It said they're going to start doing it.
I thought that's how they figured out.
No, they probably just
I
trusted
thought that's how they figured out how Yola's...
Well, in that case, it was probably so much of a... And that's probably why they said, sure, pass. And then there was all this, people were like, this is way too crazy. And then they came back and cut it up and they were like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Conjecture.
Let's have a set of rules about how you can construct your paddle, but never check to see if anybody's actually following
taking
those
everybody's
rules.
word for it, because when you submit a paddle for approval, you have to submit a sheet saying this is what's in it, this is the construction, this is the parts, and they probably just take the paddle company's word. I don't know. Conjecture. Okay, let me be clear. Let me see here. They also said that they are working on an RPM test for spin, which is very interesting. The details are not ready. They didn't say when that's coming out, but theoretically, this is a good thing. If they do a final test, then they just test for RPM, then they can stop micromanaging what materials we use. right now it says like, oh, no rubber, there's this grit limit, all this different stuff, almost said, etc. If they just say, here's the RPM, stay under it, use whatever material you want, it opens up a lot of innovation. It also opens up a lot of ways for companies to make more durable, long-lasting spin. Because there are things right now that limit paddle companies from making durable, long-lasting spin because we are limited in what materials we can use and how gritty they can be, things like that. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me say one thing. There is nothing, in my opinion, that would be better for the pickleball paddle industry than for them to start being more lenient on what materials you can and cannot use and take away the coefficient of friction testing.
Yeah.
That would be
super interesting.
Unbelievable.
I would love that. That would be like a field day.
Could not think of anything
R&D
better.
People. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. It'd be so fun. You would see so many amazing different materials being used in different types of paddles. It would no longer be everybody's paddle is consisting of the same four materials. So that's something that I think has to be done to improve the pickleball paddle world.
So this is the last thing I'll say about it. This was the one sentence, and I quoted it here. I'm going to read it, that had me worried or concerned, because this is sounding very UPA. If you remember the UPA, the new approval body that's coming out, here's the quote from the email. This is a direct quote. You ready? We are making adjustments in our qualification process for new brands seeking to enter the market. That sounds very much like they're going to increase the barrier to entry for new brands and or smaller brands to get approval. Like I said, sounding very much like the UPA, and they came out with their $100 or $100,000 a year membership, and then $5,000.
Yeah.
So we're going to see where this lands with USAP. I'm hopeful that it's reasonable, but that's concerning as someone who's involved with a small brand. Okay, so that's the USAP update.
I have said this before. I do think that the barrier of entry is too low.
Yeah, I can see that, but just be reasonable.
Yeah, let's say $5,000 to $7,000. I don't think that's insane, but that's enough to probably deter somebody from just starting a catalog brand and spewing out the same, same three paddles that or really it's the same two paddles. Everybody does the air cover elongated or just a regular elongated paddle. So,
all right, dude.
Anyway,
I don't know. How long has it been? An hour? Because let's blast through the Q&A.
48.
Let's see if we can do it. Come on. This is our chance.
Flying.
Episode 10, we might finally go under an hour.
We got some Q's to A, guys. We got some Q's to A. All right, so we're going to go with the first one, which is genuinely one of my favorite questions ever. I'll have to look up the name of who this was.
How dare you.
But he asked, would it be better to become a 5.0 in respectable length shorts, or would you rather be a 4.0 in your short
that
shorts?
Was Mr. Tickle, wasn't
shorts?
Wasn't that David Tickle My Pickleball?
No.
Oh,
No.
I could have swore it was him.
Now listen, no one is more obsessed with my shorts than David from Tickle My Pickle. Even my wife, she's not even quite as obsessed with my legs as David is. So, Tickle, Mr. Tickle, if you're watching this, I got some short shorts on right now. So, to answer this question, I would not sacrifice my short shorts to be a 5.0. No, it's part of my life. That is who I am. I'm a dad,
Have you ever seen?
I wear these short shorts.
Those are shorter than dad
Hoochie
shorts.
daddy
Those look
shorts.
like mom shorts. Hey, I'm not hating, by the way. I'm here for it.
Yeah, you sure did like my shorts
sure.
whenever we were in Houston playing together, man. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Holger Rune, tennis player?
No.
He doesn't know.
I hardly ever watched tennis. Yeah.
Y'all dress alike, and he's blonde and he's tall. But anyway, so you have the very Holger Rune shorts, and he's a pro top level pro tennis player. So you wouldn't. You would stay 4.0. All you have to do is, what if you had to wear some 90s Adam Sandler style basketball shorts and be a 5.0?
No, absolutely not. No
fine.
chance. No chance. Yeah, not a chance in the world. So, would you give up your? I guess your shorts are not that long. I would say they're
But
shorter.
if someone said you had to wear
Would you
pants
prefer
all the
your
time,
shorts to be 5'0"?
The answer is no. I would keep my shorts. I despise wearing pants. I just wear shorts year round. People who know me know this. So, like, I hate wearing pants.
I know. I wore jeans to go get a burger whenever we were in Houston, and he looked at me like I was
He wore
psycho.
jeans in Houston
He's like,
in July.
Are you wearing pants? Yeah.
Dude.
Who cares, bro? Trying to look fresh, man. It was cloudy and 82.
Too
it was
hot.
fine.
That's 82 degrees too hot to wear pants.
Yeah. Anyway, this dude, man, no fashion sense.
True. It's actually true.
Gosh.
To be honest. So, all right.
Anyway,
next cue.
So another really good question. This is from Cole Belanger. Is that how I say it correctly? Cole Belanger. He asked if you could instantly make one shot, so one shot type in pickleball, a 6-0 plus level shot, what would it be? So, Justin, I'm going to let you go first, bro. And
easy answer.
I'm looking forward to this.
Easy answer. Return. Look, it's not the flashy answer. It's not the fun answer. But if you,
that was a terrible
if you are answering this out of the spirit of wanting to win, it's a return. I mean, imagine if you just had like really deep, powerful returns, every shot. At our level, that just wins games. We talked about this before. You can tell in your own game if you hit a good return, you just like there's way higher percentage of you winning that point. If you hit a crap return, you're like, I'm screwed. You're like you're kind of walking to the kitchen like, oh God, here we go. So it's not flashy, but I'll say a return.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. So to me, like I said, that's the easy answer.
All right. Mine is super flashy. And the reason why, I'm going to go with speed ups.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm going to go with speed ups is because from 3.5 to 4.5, if you have a very good speed up, you are going to win that point probably 70% of the time. Especially if you have a good, second shot. So the 1-2 punch is what people like to call it. So if you're speed up and then your second shot finish is good, you are going to dominate, especially like in the 4.0, 4.5 level.
That's
so
fair.
I would say speed up.
And that would be super fun.
A very good. Yes, it'd be very fun. Yeah,
wizard.
You would mess people up.
That's more fun than.
And you'd get a lot of winners.
That's more fun, right? Than returns. However, if we played each other with our 6-0 shots, I'm taking me with the 6-0 returns to win that game. Because good luck even getting to the kitchen. When you have a 6-0 plus
I'll just
return.
lob you.
That's true. You would win. Honestly, if you play me ever in any circumstance, if you just lob, I lose. So just a tip for anyone out there if they ever play
Jesus, we got to delete that. No, we got to delete that. That can't go on the podcast. We're going to get annihilated when we meet up with people and play. They're just going to lob us. I'm going to be pushing you out
I
of
will.
the way.
I'll run off the court and just yell, you. I'll just run.
Yeah, Lewis, get
All
it.
right.
Get it. Cole, excellent question. I really like that one a lot. So we're going to move on to the next question, which is from, sorry guys, come on, Halim, excuse me. Sorry if I messed up your name. Come on asked, why would I choose the J3K Pro over the J2K? And this is probably a question better for me to answer because, Justin, I don't know if you've even hit the J2K.
Nope. Well, yes, but...
So you have.
not extensively.
Okay. All right, but not extensively. Yeah. So the J3K Pro is going to be a little bit more, this is going to sound psycho, but it's actually going to be like a little bit more of a more powerful and aggressive paddle.
Yeah.
It has significantly more pop. It has a much more responsive feel, which people who are a little bit more aggressive generally like. It's still super control oriented. It is equally as stable, even though its twist weight does not necessarily say so. But it is not quite as powerful in drives and serves, which is as to be expected from a slightly shorter paddle. I feel like I'm just like given the J3K like a J3K Pro just like a full on ad read
That's okay.
right now.
That's the question.
I'm trying to figure out why you would pick the J2K. You would pick the J2K because it is a better all around paddle. It is
Just crazy to say.
arguably the most stable paddle.
It's better at the net.
Arguably the
There you
most
go.
stable
That's
paddle.
why.
Yeah.
It's better at the net. It has more pop,
So-
more power. It's
yeah.
better for putaways, better for counters. It's a little bit faster. It has a wider sweet spot. Boom.
Yeah. It's official. I guess the J2K is the paddle that I would recommend to everyone.
That is more well-rounded.
The J3K Pro, yes, the J3K Pro is the paddle that I would recommend to anyone at all who likes standard shape paddles.
Yeah. And wants to be aggressive at the net.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was close for a minute, and then the more I played with the J3K Pro, it is not even close. There's not a single standard shape paddle that, in my opinion, holds any value or is even close to as good as the J3K Pro. Now, the Monarch All Court.
We'll see.
It is
Review coming
soon. I need quite a bit more time. Yeah, I need quite a bit more time. I need to match its my lead weight setup. Excuse me, my tungsten weighted tape. Pickleball
Product placement.
Yeah, product placement. Sponsored, not sponsored. So I need to match that up in terms of weighting to see how I like it. But man, you're so right about the fiberglass. The whole time I'm thinking it's stiffer and more harsh feeling. It is harsher feeling, but it's so much
more
softer.
Flexible.
It is so much softer. Yeah, I noticed it heavily with this Monarch All Court. And I'm glad you said that because I never really thought about that. I was just more so focused on the harshness and the more vibration that you get from fiberglass that makes it a little bit more feeling
poppy,
of stiffness. So perceived
So
stiffness. Yeah.
was that it? Last cue?
But yeah, J3K Pro, in my opinion, is the better paddle if you like standard shape paddles. If you don't like standard shape paddles and you like hybrid, the J2K is the clear winner. Like, it's not even close. So, all right, and last question from Matthew K. What paddles on the market use core cells different from 8mm? 8mm, in case you do not know, is the traditional core size, core cell size, traditionally used in honeycomb cores. So, either smaller, which I know is out there, the standout CF3 considers themselves a narrow cell core. I've not cut it open to confirm this, but I trust them and do believe that they are using a thinner core cell. I'm not sure if it's 7, 6, whatever.
I would assume.
Yeah.
The readily available ones are 6, 8, and 10.
Yeah.
Like you said, 8 is the industry standard. Pretty sure the Spartus Ballista also uses 6mm cells. And when we say 6mm, we don't mean like the thickness.
You're right.
The paddle thickness this way is, we mean the actual cells are little honeycomb. They're little circles, little straws. And we're talking about the diameter.
Yep.
So like a bigger circle or a smaller circle.
Yep.
I think Spartus Ballista is the other one that I know off the top of my head.
You can think of it like a good reference would be like a quarter versus a nickel versus a dime. 10, 8, 6. That's obviously not
more like a smoothie straw versus a regular straw.
Yeah. But to give you a visual, whatever. Nerd. Sorry, dude, didn't get it right. Yeah.
Hey, you don't know your millimeters? Come on.
So yeah, I don't know. Do you know of any paddles that use larger cell size?
Man, there are some. I can't think of any that use 10mm core.
Probably some like lower entry level paddles. I feel like I've seen.
The weighting gets kind of wonky because if you have a larger diameter cell size, for the same size sheet, it's going to be way lighter.
It's less.
And it's also like less, structural integrity. There's, you might see more experimentation coming with this. Also, we're talking about polypropylene honeycomb, but when you get into like Nomex, there's different cell sizes. A lot of those have really small cells, usually 6mm. But yeah, so you probably see more small cells than large. I don't know. You might see some more 10 millimeter cells. It's worth experimenting with if you can. Make sure it's strong enough and get the right amount of weight.
That's another thing that I hope people can start to experiment more with is cores.
Yeah.
You know. All right, guys. Well, look, great cues. I'm glad we got to A.
Thank you.
Your cues. So thank y'all very much. Fuck it. 10th episode. Should we do a giveaway?
Yeah. Giveaway. Just dox yourself. Give away your address.
What should we give away? Should we give away some
product placement? Yeah, dude. Here, I'll give this.
Yeah,
piece,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Package specifically. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get you a new package.
Let's what do you think we should do? Should we do a contest like funniest comment or
I hadn't even thought of
nerdiest
this.
comment? What should we do?
Yeah, something totally subjective that we just get to choose.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I want to. I do so many random giveaways. I want to do something that's like fun.
Let's just say best comment on this video, and I'll tell you a little bit about us to give you a little cheat sheet. It's like when you play Cards Against Humanity and you know what type of judge someone is, you can usually win their cards, right? So I like to see the thoughtful, nerdy stuff with a little bit of irreverence mixed in, so it's kind of funny. But don't go too crazy. You don't need to be rude. But a little self-deprecation is great. Lewis, what do you like?
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do two winners. Okay. You pick one.
Okay, sounds good.
Guys, you already know. I want you to just.
You want to get roasted?
You know, make me feel bad. No, don't roast me. Don't roast me too bad.
Are you looking for true constructive criticism or just a funny roast? Or
No. I just want a funny comment. Give me your best stuff. Like hit me with your best shot. It doesn't have to be about me. It can be about our pickleball game as a whole. It can be about my shorts. It can be about whatever you want. I mean, I'm here. I'm a punching bag. Hit me.
I'm looking forward to this actually.
Or hit Justin. No,
we didn't even know this was coming. Wait. My ego, my fragile ego.
I'm rethinking this. Yeah. No. Funny. My favorite comment in terms of humor is gonna win my pickleball effect.
And I'll pick one that just surprises me, or is thoughtful, or is interesting, or something I haven't heard before, because I feel like I've heard everything in the pickleball space. So give me something new. Give me something to think about.
Yeah.
Give me something to be nerdy about.
No one can roast me worse than I can roast myself.
Probably true.
I'm going to regret those words.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. Comment down below. Knock our socks off. Make us laugh. I'm Lewis, your host with the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. This is my co-host, Justin. This is episode 10. Thank you guys for sticking around. This is kind of crazy that we have so much engagement from this. I genuinely thought it was going to be a humongous
We're going to get better.
And I've loved every minute.
And the fact that you guys are showing interest in actually watching, it's kind of lit a fire under us. We're going to make it better anyway. So thanks for watching, and we'll make it better for you guys. So until next time.
Expect good things to come. Bye, guys.